Big Earl here with Veteran Trash Talk and Gruntworks, and super excited to bring you part 2 of our 3-part series of how to invest your money, if you got money. Now, we're bringing Army veteran Ken back on, and he's going to tell you what to do with your money by going through a scenario with a CPA and myself of what kind of questions you're going to answer and how the system looks. Now, Facebook has a lot of scams, all right, but if you follow Veteran Trash Talk, you know that we're not a scam, and information is power. All you have to do, doesn't cost you anything, scan that QR code right there. I think it's right there, something like that. Yeah, that'll take you to Veteran Trash Talk. Go to the events and say interested in going, all right, to part 2 of Army veteran Ken and financial security. We'll see you then.
Hey, what's up, trash talkers? Listen, it's impossible to fight, okay, if you don't know what you're fighting for. Does that make sense? Like, if you're in the dumps and you're struggling with mental health, things of that nature, it's going to continue tearing you down, all right? Because you're consistently trying to fight something, which is that demon, which is usually something from the past, right? Maybe that why needs to be fighting for your future. Let that be your why. Get the hell up and start fighting for your future. Stop fighting things that happened in the past. Easier said than done, right? Go seek help. It's okay not to be okay. A lot of people need to hear this. You are more of a warrior and a fighter if you stand up and say, hey, this has to stop. I need to go seek help. The stigma, everything has changed. It's okay not to be okay.
Here is a firm believer in all men are created equal, but not all men live equal. That is why there's a certain select number of people in the DoD who decided to jump out of airplanes. And yes, we are better than you. 100%. Now, don't be the first triggered pansy to say, well, airborne's not relevant. You haven't jumped since World War II. Well, that's not accurate, for one. And two, it's like having a jalopy or a 68 Mustang. Well, a 68 Mustang's no longer relevant. Doesn't matter. It's still a better car than yours. So take it easy this National Airborne Day and just accept that we are better than you.
So, 2 things for today's Honesty Cap. First thing, how do all my boys from the 101st feel knowing that the Army decided that instead of actually making you airborne, they would just create a whole new division that's airborne because you just aren't cutting it? It sucks. Thing number 2, for all the folks that were like, oh, airborne is irrelevant, doesn't even matter. They're making a whole new division of just airborne people because they're relevant. Think about that. How's that feel? Does that hurt a little bit? I hope it hurts a little bit.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
What's going on, Trash Talkers? What is up, Gruntworks Nation? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of the Trash Talk Hour. Special guest today is Joe Troutman, author of Gods of War, The Legend of Blackhawk Company. And as usual, I am here with the Big Earl and Buddy. Happy Saturday.
What's up?
Happy Saturday. I mean, can we talk about the late hit that the Alabama defense put on the Wisconsin quarterback early in the first quarter?
We gotta get there.
I'm just saying we weren't going to beat you anyways, but like it could have at least been, let's watch the game for 3 quarters. But no, you got a late hit. The quarterback, and it's Wisconsin. We don't have 2 good quarterbacks. We don't even have one. So if you hurt our starter, like now, like what? Stop it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Dave, you didn't even watch. You don't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
You are damn right.
The only fucking quarterback.
It's called sarcasm, buddy. It's called sarcasm.
I only watch football.
We are a democracy, and that's 2-1. All right. How does Joe feel? Could be the deciding vote. He is the Kamala of the Senate.
They got smashed.
Yeah, but I mean, should it be like under protest because they hurt our quarterback in the first quarter with a late hit?
Do you really think you were gonna win anyhow, though? I don't.
No, that's what I'm saying. We can watch it for 3 quarters, like where it's like maybe a 2-score game. Like still kind of interesting. Maybe Alabama throws up on themselves and kicks it out of their own end zone, but maybe. But
yeah.
I mean,
you still got to play the rest of the game. The quarterback doesn't play defense.
True. He also doesn't duck or dodge.
Yeah. No, that's his fault. All right, but sorry, I derailed the process. But yeah, everything's freaking money, man. We had a great fight show last night. Cliff's back doing his mental health breaks after his vacation. Tracking got a new
He's having a
sponsor.
blast in Italy, man. Yeah, we got the sponsor. Yeah,
Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Canopy Mortgage. All right.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. Yeah, they give us some money, and we put that up there, and then that money goes to promoting Joe. Works. It's a good
and
system.
all of our other wonderful guests. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good time. All right, well, let's get it kickstarted, I guess, huh? So I was actually I texted Buddy the other night about this. And then I went down the rabbit hole even further and realized that this really isn't even a conspiracy. I mean, I guess you could think it is still, but it's like factual. So have you guys ever heard of remote viewing?
Yes.
Okay, well, Buddy has, yes.
Isn't that what everybody's
doing? You even said anything.
Isn't that what everybody's doing right now? Isn't everybody watching this remote viewing?
You can also train people to do it.
Yeah, the rabbit hole on TikTok is insane because there's a lot of people that are supposedly doing it. So basically, this supposedly is a technique where you can like be where you're at right now and you can view different locations in the world and like call out or view different objects across the world and call them out without like leaving the location that you're at and without ever even been there. So apparently it started in like World War II. The Russians were on top of this. The Germans were doing it. And then the CIA started the Monroe Institute in like the 70s. And the first remote viewer was Joe McGullen or whatever. He was remote viewer 001. And I watched his podcast. He was on the Joe Ryan show. And supposedly this guy remote viewed Mars 1 million years ago and talked about structures on Mars. And then he remote viewed the Titanic when it sunk and how it actually happened. So here's a quick clip of that on the Sean Ryan podcast, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So go ahead and play that video, Chris.
You were tasked with remote viewing Mars, and the time period, I believe, was 1 million BC.
Yeah, 1 million BC.
Who was that directed by?
Well, when it was tasked, I was sleeping in the industrial cube at the Monroe Institute, and he said, well, I have some people here from the Department of the Army, and they have a target for you. He said, I have an envelope here. There's nothing written on it. It's in my pocket. Tell me something about it. It started out with a really large pyramid. The first words out of my mouth was, this must be a new discovery. And he said, why do you say that? I said, because it's huge. It's bigger than the Pyramid of Giza. And it turned out there were 6 specific targets that I was given in that particular case. And all 6 of them, I described exactly what was standing there. What was also pictured in negatives by JPL. Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So I finally said, it's like a special race of people or something. I'm getting humans just like we are. Things like the Titanic and stuff like that. I did the remote viewing for him. And it turned out my remote viewing was more accurate than written history because he went as far as going back to the records of the interviews with the people that were rescued and found that things I said in my reports were accurate. Things written about it by historians were wrong. Like there were 2 guys in the tower together when they hit the iceberg. 1 guy in the tower. The other guy was in the kitchen getting a tin of tea and didn't even know it was going to happen. That's never been in history reports until my remote viewing. Now it's in history reports.
Wow.
Stuff like that.
Wow.
Okay, so a little bit more on this guy. He has a Legion of Merit. He was awarded one, and he's still part of the Institute with the CIA and stuff. One little story that he's very well known
right now.
Yeah. One little story that's pretty crazy about him too, that's documented, it's out there, is he was in Vegas, enjoying a weekend out in Vegas, and a child came up missing in Virginia, where he's from. So the sheriff like called him and said, "Hey, there's a child missing. Mom and dad can't find this kid, and can you like do whatever you need to do to figure out where this child is?" And he gave the cops the exact coordinates from a hotel in Vegas, and 20 minutes later they found this child. And there's an article out about it, and it's completely accurate. So long story short, this is still going on in the Monroe Institute. Sean Ryan is talking about going there and taking one of the classes. But yeah, supposedly they have all these capabilities of remote viewing things. What they do there in the schoolhouse, from my understanding, is they bring you an envelope that has like a number or a letter on it, and then there's a picture of something in it, and then you just look at it, and then you're able through this training to identify exactly what is going on there, but you're actually remote viewing that location. So the conspiracy behind this is this actually just bullshit, and it's to scare everybody else that we have these capabilities, right? Or is it actually occurring, and are they actually doing this stuff? And I 100% believe in it. I thought it was a conspiracy a little bit. Like, I believe in Nostradamus and stuff, right? But then after looking into this and looking at the documents that were released, it's all over the internet. And people like Sean Ryan, he's a pretty legit podcaster, right? He's got some CIA background and stuff. I think he was a Navy SEAL as well. That doesn't really mean anything. They all do movies and write books, right?
You would know if he was one. Yeah.
All jokes aside, he's legit, right? He's legit. So yeah, looking more into it, it's absolutely a thing. I 100% believe in it. Not a conspiracy behind this, and that is my take. Joe, have you ever heard of remote viewing, and what is your take on this?
I have never heard of it before. I just watched that video, so seems a little sketchy at times to me.
Okay.
That's it.
Is that it? You want to elaborate on that, or just you're going to leave it at that? Sketchy?
Come on, you're a fister. You're all fucked up. Like, you guys talk about the
I believe in
dumbest
what
shit
I can see. I believe in what I can, you know what I mean? I can see and read for myself and actually, you know, if I see something and I see somebody doing it, I believe in it. Until then, yeah, you know?
Yeah. So there, and to your point there are tons of videos out on YouTube, and like there's some of the classes are actually available online. Like everybody can do it. Like it's weird shit. So, yeah, I don't know. So maybe you watch some of the videos. Maybe it'll change your mind.
Yeah, I just had never heard of it
ahead.
before. So.
Was this the guy? This the guy that went to Mars?
Yes.
Did he say that?
He remote viewed Mars 1 million years ago and talks about pyramids and other life forms that looked like us that lived there.
So remote viewing.
And then there's another one. You guys remember the movie?
But you only go back in the past. You don't look forward.
No, you can go into the future too. He did the. You guys remember the movie The Hunt for Red October with the submarine? Yeah. Like, cause he like remote viewed that submarine as well, and it's documented and it's out there, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Buddy might have some better takes. He's in the special forces community.
That was a Tom Clancy book. That wasn't a real story.
There is something with the submarine though. With the Red October, there is a movie. Red October was a submarine. I don't know what year it came out. Yes, but there's actually some true story to part of the Red October. Yeah. Yeah, and he was able to remote view the submarine or whatever. So anyway, I want to hear Buddy's take on this because this is a lot of the special forces community, apparently as well, from all my research.
Ain't no Kandahar giant, tell you that right now.
You know what?
But Buddy said he had heard about it when I texted him. But it ended up not being a conspiracy for me. This is like a real thing. I just didn't have time to change the video. It's pretty fascinating though. So go ahead, Buddy.
I have a conspiracy, and that is that as I'm looking at myself in the thing, it looks like I got a handlebar, and I'm digging it. I actually kind of dig the handlebar thing.
You would look good with it.
I think so. Maybe I'll go that route. Anywho,
I'll get some of the girls that email me about you all the time.
Real quick, Jeremy says LSD is one hell of a thing. So real quick before Buddy starts, they are using psychedelics as well at the Monroe Institute, supposedly.
Yeah, well, that we knew that.
Yep, because that opens up, you know, if you are familiar with, I've never taken LSD, so I don't know, but if you are familiar with shrooms and stuff like that, like, yeah. Anyway, Buddy, go ahead.
So what is well documented is that we only use about 10% of our brain.
Actual,
and if you unlock more of your brain, why would you only use 10% of it? Because you haven't been taught to use the other 90% of it or whatever. But they've been using the Monroe Institute has been open for a long time, like since the 70s, like you said. But remote viewing has been going on for even longer. And to be honest, the reason they opened that institute was because they can teach people how to remote view. It's something you can be trained to do. You don't have to be like a psychic. You just have to be trained to be able to open up that part of your that, I guess, that connection in your brain, apparently.
I'm saying everything is
But
internally connected.
you have to be educated on the subject when you open that pathway.
No.
How do you know? How does your brain know to go to that pathway?
He explains it in one of the videos. It's like throwing a basketball, right? Like everybody can throw a basketball. You can just get better at throwing it.
There are
Go
people
ahead.
that can't throw a basketball. There are people.
You can still take the ball physically. You can pick the ball unless you don't have any hands, right? You can pick up the ball physically and throw it, or you can get really good at it, right?
You know that,
and then you can train.
That video that went viral, like I think it was Buddy's aunt, where it's like that kid right there is going to be a college athlete. And you throw the ball at him and hits him in the face and knocks him over. Like no.
The difference is that kid might not be a college athlete, but he can still dribble a ball. You may be able to do it at varying degrees and varying levels.
I'm just trying to.
You're not going to be the professor at the Monroe Institute.
I'm gonna give the educated decision on the point on this. So I need to know more. Like,
well, give me a second.
The pathway.
You probably, Nick. Everybody has the capability to do it. Literally everybody, and it's not like. Literally, like everybody has a capability of walking or running, but it's just some can run faster than others.
Not everybody has that.
At its base level, Nick, it's basically like it's base level. You're thinking about somebody, and then they call you. That's its base, like finite base level. That is that is something like that.
So the
but
force.
When you learn how to do it more, apparently, you can see other things. And they're not seeing, like, if they were seeing into the future and seeing like everything, and it was as great as it's not like you're looking at like the lottery numbers. You know what I mean? So, well, I mean, if they were, they would win the lottery every time.
So, buddy, your take, obviously it's happening. It's true. Do you think this guy remote viewed Mars? Like you said?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Not.
I mean, how do you call them out on it, though? How do you say they're wrong?
Why?
Right. How do you disprove it, right?
But who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, okay, so there were people. There could have been strippers on Mars 1,000,000 years ago. If I can't get a time machine and a spaceship, it doesn't change me. I'm not trying to use Martian.
Yeah. So the other thing that they're doing at the Monroe Institute is outer body experiences, where your actual soul
outer body.
Sorry. Yes. Dankeschön. Ich werde mich besser mit der englischen Sprache. Yeah. Anyhow, they talk about where your spirit or your spirit or your soul, they teach that there as well, actually leaves your body and can go to certain locations, and then the people in those locations actually get freaked out and spooked out like there's a ghost there.
Damn, I wish I could learn to do that, because I would fuck with people for real.
Dude, I went down that rabbit hole. There's like all kinds, we could probably do a whole episode on the Monroe Institute on the stuff that they're teaching there. But the remote viewing, 100% real.
And keep that from happening. Like, that's the other thing. If it's as good as they say, why did it take so long to find Bin Laden?
Well, because we
just knew where he was the whole time.
Maybe we were remote.
Well, there's a conspiracy that we actually didn't kill him, that he's been dead. That's a whole.
They were on a different channel.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that one some other time.
It's possible, and it's probably true, but I believe that it's not accurate enough to be like, oh yeah, like who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? Tom Brady, of course.
Patrick Mahomes.
PTT's Bang Bang expert says like a third eye. Yeah, that's how he explains it, like a third eye. Derek says the show Evil on Paramount has plots how remote viewing is supposed to work when someone is given numbers referring to coordinates of a location.
I already.
I know. I'm just reading it right now. I was paying attention to you guys. I was looking into your eyes, Nick, when you were talking. And Jeremy said kind of like feeling deja vu. Okay. All right. Cool. Nick, what's your take?
Yeah, I don't think so. As the smart.
You think it's a psyop to like scare other countries?
So I think this is fact. Unlike Buddy's 10% thing, where 14% of all stats are made up on the spot.
It's 77%. I looked it up the other day. I made it up the other day.
This is a fact that I believe that Hollywood puts things that are real into movies, kind of like The Hunt for the Red October, so that we don't believe that they're actually happening.
Godzilla.
Right. So we put that in there. So like when we actually see Godzilla, it's like, oh, they're filming Godzilla again. No, that's a fucking giant lizard. Right? Like, no, like but we don't believe it. Kind of like the UFOs. We like they try to tell us
desensitize us, huh?
Yeah. So here's what's really cool. All right. If at all this is true, the only validity behind it is that this is Star Wars meets Men Who Stare at Goats meets Wall-E. All right. You ever seen Wall-E?
I don't understand I don't understand how the Wall-E part is.
Because if you look at this guy in the video, he's literally the captain from the ship in Wall-E, where he's got no bone density anymore.
Maybe.
He's went to the future and he's riding around on a cart where they just feed him his food, and he has no more muscle, no more body.
Just has his clothes laid on him because he doesn't fit him. Yep.
Right. So that's the only way that I could justify this being true is that Star Wars went all out and said, "Hey, this Force connects everybody, right? Like we can use the Force and like Luke literally fought, Kylo Ren without even being there. So was he remote battling? I think that's what we call it,
battling,
right?
Huh?
Remote Jedi lightsaber fight. All right. So. But then it's like Hollywood's like, well, we put way too much into that. Let's kind of back it off a little bit. Let's just kind of make a joke movie about, the special forces starting a branch of people who just stare at people until they die. Right? Like,
and that was done at the Monroe Institute as well, from my understanding. And there's truth behind all that too.
Yeah, and then it goes to Wall-E, where this guy has been to the future. And here's my other point: is if he does all this, remote viewing, did he not ever remote view like a diet, or did he not remote view like?
I mean, the dude is a badass.
I mean,
allegedly,
his history, like his military history, like he's a little older now. He's like, let himself go, bro.
But Buddy got a Legion of Merit, so let's not like.
I wasn't gonna say something fucked up, but I didn't want to say it. Go ahead.
Maybe
let's not make that medal too cool. Like Buddy has one, right?
I don't have a Legion of Merit.
They didn't give it. Yeah, my Legion of Merit got downgraded as well.
Yeah.
So
my dad has a Legion of Merit though.
Yeah. Well, your dad was better than you. So.
Yeah, true.
That's fine.
That being said, I would say that if I could see the future and saw that it didn't matter if I went to the gym every day or not, I wouldn't go to I would eat a lot. I would not
just on a diet.
Well, I was talking to
you were just on a diet.
If I was like, if I could like read into look into the future and be like, oh, this is pointless. Like me being sore is pointless. I'd be like, nope.
And so I was talking to Megan last night about it when I was looking up the conspiracy, and she's like, why aren't all of them like the richest people in the world now? Because they're just remote viewing and can like see into the future and make the right calls on like the stock market or whatever it may be,
the remote viewing with like the child abduction. How do we know that when he thought he was remote viewing, he actually wasn't just studying patterns of these people's lives and figuring it out?
Well, I don't know. Like they woke him up at 2 a.m. and he just called out. He just called out the location of that child in the middle of the woods. It was in Virginia. Yeah, it was in Virginia, but he literally just called out the location.
Second floor.
Yeah,
and there's an article about it, and they do like the police departments have psychics and stuff that work for them. Like they call them psychics, right? There's like plenty of stories on that.
Saturday Night Live, Christopher Walken. Christopher Walken on Saturday Night Live. He touched you, be like, you had a jelly donut for breakfast. Then you drove 32 miles an hour when you were supposed to be going 35. Christopher Walken was the first one that they showed it on Saturday Night Live before Star Wars. Okay.
So your take, Nick, absolute bullshit?
It's absolute bullshit.
And it's more of a psyop? We're trying to do that to, like, why would we openly be talking about it? Why would people that work at the Monroe Institute like he does be openly talking about it? Like, is it more of a psyop to, like, scare other countries that we have those capabilities?
Well, like I said, the men who stare at goats. Are the Russians building a goat program? Yes. So we need to build a goat program. So maybe we're making other countries spend more money on it.
Yeah.
Because we're like, dude, they'll believe this shit. We'll just put it in a few movies. Fucking Chinese believe everything.
So my take, 100%, Buddy, 100%, Joe, I need to see it to believe it, and Nick's like complete bullshit. Good take.
Bullshit.
All right. Complete bullshit. All right. I like it. Good stuff. We'll have to do a whole episode on the Monroe Institute. Everybody needs to do their own research, and we'll figure it out. Maybe we can go there, take a class. Remote viewing.
I mean, we should be able to just remote view it and see what it's like.
Yeah. We got to learn, though, right? There's a bunch of TikTokers that supposedly remote view on a daily. Yeah. I'll take some TikTok classes.
Are they able to classify remote viewing? Like, sorry, you don't have the access to it. We need to
How awesome would it be if they showed you like a YouTube video or whatever, so that you could get started? Like you could kind of like just a little teaser, like they do for like these weird diets.
We could probably get paid to just make up a bullshit video like that and tell people we're.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, what would be hilarious is if they did that and you did it and it showed you shit, but it was all squiggled out, like when you back when you were a kid, you were like trying to watch Cinemax and like
yeah.
A dude nipple or a chick.
As soon as the parents left that box with the 33 Bravo.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. 33 Bravo, and if it was like there are very few times in my life I have ever been as happy as when I went to that channel and expected to see squiggly lines, but they were giving it free for the weekend. And I was like, and when Mars, Venus, and like Pluto aligned, and my parents had left, and it was free.
It's life changing.
Katie barred the doors. I'm glad he didn't come back in the house with a black light, because that shit would have blinded him.
I'm glad we got a sponsor. I'm glad we just landed a sponsor. Yeah.
Well, anyhow, good stuff. Good stuff. That was fun. Remote viewing. I'm going to take some TikTok classes. I'm going to start remoting the shit out of stuff.
Let's just create our own.
I mean, if we did that, we could teach people. We wouldn't even have to do a podcast anymore.
Exactly. Because everybody could just watch what we were going to do anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, Wally, we don't have to leave our chair. Like, they got
Wally.
Got a question for you guys. What do you think about the current readiness of our military?
You ask this every 3 weeks, Jeremy.
Jeremy, we got to get to our guest at some point in this show. That's a drawn out answer there.
True.
We ready?
Hey, I will say that at least my honesty cap is real short this week, and it's for Nick. So
okay. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, is that because I brought that tequila?
Here's the honesty cap, and I'm just going to direct it directly at Nick. Hey, Nick. Don't be one of those guys that just because your team loses, you have a bad weekend. Shake it off. You know what I mean? Go out. Enjoy the time with your family. You didn't go to spring practice, so you didn't lose out on anything. You didn't sweat. You didn't bleed. You didn't get hit late, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Don't be
showing
mad.
The replay of it. They keep showing the replay of it.
Don't be mad that those boys lost to a better team. It's all right. Just move on with your weekend. And if you're one of those guys who your identity is wrapped up in whether or not Wisconsin wins against Alabama.
I'm not even a Wisconsin fan. It's just they were playing Alabama.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you're one of those guys who gets real upset if your team loses and your whole week is screwed up, possibly you should get a life. Just saying, you're not playing the game.
What if
you
football
didn't
is
get yelled
like?
at by the coach? You're going to be all right. Here's my other honesty cap that we're going to go over real quick. Have you guys heard of this Chase Bank glitch? Have you heard of this Chase Bank glitch?
Yep.
So apparently people are taking a check, writing their check to themselves, putting it in their ATM.
Getting arrested too.
And then withdrawing, overdrafting their own account. They're calling it a glitch. I think that all of those people should get shot in the face. 100%. They should get shot.
Bring capital punishment back, firing squads.
We don't need them.
Yeah.
We are a better country without anybody who thinks that you can defraud yourself and get away with fraud against you.
Natural selection's going to get them.
I don't get it. Hey,
it already did in a sense, but it'll get them.
Who comes up with this plan and then briefs it to their buddies? It's like, hey, dude, I've got a plan. It's going to make us
In debt.
Quasi rich for the next 3 or 4 weeks, probably.
Yeah.
Here's the plan.
And then you're going to go to jail, but we'll leave
Okay,
that part
wait,
out.
wait.
You're going to go to prison. We'll
I'm
leave
gonna
that
do a
part
little
out.
role play. Hold on, Dave. I'm gonna do some role play. This is me. This is my buddy. All right. Hey, bro. What's up? Nothing much. Just got a great plan on how to make a bunch of money. What's the great plan? Do you have your checkbook on you? It's at home. I can get it. Okay. Don't stop me too early, but here we go. All right, let's do this. All right. Write a check. To who? To you. Write a check to you. For let's say $50,000. Hey man, I don't have $50,000 in that account. Say less. It doesn't matter. Write a check for $50,000.
And you will.
Okay, fam, I wrote it. It's for $50,000. What do I do with it now? Go to the ATM and deposit the check. Again, did you not hear that I don't have $50,000? Calm down. Just do it. Okay, I did it. What does your account say? It says I have $50,000, but I didn't. My bad. I got confused, but I didn't. Cool. Go back to the ATM and withdraw $50,000. But I don't really have $50,000. I wrote that made up number on the check because you told me to. Just do it anyway. Okay, now we have $50,000. Let's go buy stuff. Fast forward. Hey, man, the bank and the cops are coming after me. Why? Did you commit fraud? Well, fuck, you told me to. I'm an idiot. Here they come, and they're going to shoot me in the face because I'm fucking retarded. Don't defraud yourself. Hey, I was talking to
Chris, you better get all this shit.
I was talking to an FBI agent the other day, and he was like, it's like kiting. And I was like, no, it's not. Kiting has several accounts. This is fucking stupid. This is just dumb. And you're just stupid.
It is.
This is the equivalent of giving money to a prince in Uganda.
It's in Nigeria.
5,000 to
The Nigerian princess.
You 100% deserve to lose every bit of that money. You could not handle that money anyway. It's better off with whatever scammer has it because you're an idiot.
I haven't gotten one of those emails in a long time. The Nigerian prince emails.
Yeah, I gave them all the money. They're free.
Yeah. And why would I need to give a Nigerian or a Ugandan prince $50,000 or $5,000?
They have diamonds there.
I could legitimately. Back in the 90s and 2000s for like $1.50 a day, you had like a whole village. I got a whole village for $1.50. How many people are you feeding with this $5,000 in Uganda? Yeah. The whole country could eat for a month.
Maybe that's what you were doing. Selfish
Maybe.
prick. Yeah.
Maybe, but then there you go. You don't need that money. They need it more.
Yeah,
you're watching this video, writing the check thing down right now. That's going to be the next thing they're going to be doing.
Like
they're going to come back and they're like, well, we heard it on VTT that you could do that. It's a glitch.
We're literally talking about scammers, and I get a text message. Hi, Michael. This is Jane. And I said, I don't know you. And then I get a picture sent.
Ha!
You
not
know
today,
me.
ISIS. Not
today, motherfucker.
I just saw a meme with her picture on it. Like,
bro.
I think it was the Angry Cops guy had that on his phone.
Better.
This reminds me a lot of a conversation we had in the second platoon 2505 office with Dave when Dave was
literally just came in.
When Dave was a new American, and he thought that
I've always been an American, Nick. I'm just a little cultured, okay?
And he goes,
get it right,
dude. He's like, have you ever heard of the Powerball? I'm like, yeah.
No,
dude.
This is so inaccurate, dude.
And then he's like, dude, if we just buy like 100
absolutely
tickets, dude, we're gonna win. Think about it, 100. And like we're trying to explain, it was like, Dave, like
that was probably Gabe. I don't know how you would think that I would have done that. They have a lot. They call it lotto in Germany as well.
Like, no, they don't. No, they don't. All right,
of course they do.
bring somebody on. There's no Kaiserslautern. There's no K-Town. All right, like the stripper told us.
It's all not real. Yeah.
Germany
There's
has a
always
different
1%.
lottery. They have a
But
different lottery effort.
This reminds me of that where like people are just sitting in a room going, we could just write ourselves money, and then it's ours.
Yeah. We just keep it. They'll never track us down. How are they going to track us down? All we're doing is writing a check from our check or from our checkbook to ourselves and withdrawing it from our own account.
And then maybe Chase Bank probably Chase Bank probably did this on purpose to get some some press. But like I don't get it because
Chase Bank is going to make off this though.
Oh my God.
At the end of the day, they're gonna take a hit at the beginning, but from the fines and all of the other stuff, I mean, honestly, it's a brilliant move on Chase Bank's part if they did do it, just to launder money.
Right. So yeah, there's more to this. There's more to this. There is way more to this.
Yeah.
Like has to be because we got a check from Veterans Mortgage Source, a motherfucking lending company, right? Like they literally give people millions of dollars. And the bank put a 7-day hold on the check. I'm like, it's from a fucking lending company. How do these checks clear?
Yeah, well, you know what's like I said, I think the reason that they don't do it for your own personal check is because the bank is naive in thinking that you would never write a bad check to yourself. Because why would
it's a Ranger plan?
Why would a human do that?
It's a Ranger plan. It's a bold plan.
Yeah.
Right. No, sorry. A simple plan, boldly executed. Right.
Violently executed at some points.
Nobody's ever going to have a firewall up against this because it's too fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to put a guard over there because nobody's climbing up that mountain. Oh, we're doing it. Like,
yeah.
So,
exactly.
That's what it is.
Anyway,
JP
that's my honesty cap. I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee though. So
I've never heard anybody come in from Canada before. Hey, Canada, hey there, hey.
Hey, what's in the boots, Canada?
Yeah. Are you playing with your hockey stick with your beady little eyes and your floppy little heads? So that's from South Park. But anyway, yeah, great honesty cap, buddy. We'll see you in a couple minutes. He's probably going to take a poop because he drinks European coffee now. Not quite sure. But for the record, because he can't defend himself anymore, I don't give a crap about Wisconsin football. I played college football, so I didn't really not a fan of it. But I was hoping that they'd make it a game so I could be like, hey, buddy, like Alabama had a tough scare today, but it didn't happen. All right, but I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest. All right, Joe Troutman, who authored Gods of War, The Legend of Black Hawk Company, 123 Infantry. All right. Now, this is pretty typical of Fistler behavior. I just want to put that out there. I am like my best friends in the Army, besides like Dave, are Fisters, like Broadhead, Bill's a Fister, right? Like, all these guys, I've always gotten along with Fisters. The problem is I guarantee you, I'll leave it up to him, but I guarantee you he's probably said this over 100 times, easy, over 100, that Fisters are just like infantry, only better, right? Because they can do more. And then he writes a book, and it's infantry. There is nothing on here about being a Fister. Nothing. You actually have to open it and read it to find that out. In fact, I created the event before I read it and said, oh, a grunt wrote a book. And I'm like, wait a minute. I read this. He's not a grunt. And it hurt my feelings, Joe. You lied to me. You lied to all of us. All right. But we're still going to promote you. All right. I'm going to start crying now. But anyways, Joe, welcome to the Trash Talk Hour. All right.
Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Why did you write a book? Why should people buy it? And why should people read it?
All right. So the book is actually the story of 123 Infantry. Now, I will tell you that all of these infantry guys could have written the book, but they asked me to do it. I'm just saying.
Well, that's because you can't write.
Because they wanted the story.
Yeah, that could be accurate.
Yeah, if an infantry guy was going to write a book, it would be on a Write in the Rain notepad.
Especially
never be able to read it.
There's a high percentage that's true.
Especially a striker unit when you got First Sergeant Moss. Oh, gross, you baldy. I hope you're watching. Let all the women pass Ranger school.
So, the story's great. It goes from the time before we had strikers, when they just had tanks and Bradleys and they decided to, take this unit that was the worst unit in the Army and be like, we're going to make you a little bit better. So they gave us all these strikers. When we first got them, nothing worked. Everything broke. I mean, we took the vehicles to Yakima and drove them until they all broke. The wheels fell off. I mean, they were horrible. They were awful. So we get ready to go to war, and our commander gets relieved 2 weeks before we go into to Kuwait. And that's when we got Captain Rob. Captain Rob came in. Nobody knew him at all. Didn't know anything about him. And this dude had to take over for a dude who almost destroyed our unit. And on the very first combat mission we went on, we lost 3 dudes to a rollover accident that almost crippled our unit. I mean, the morale was low. It was bad. And I don't know how those guys from 3rd Platoon ever got back in those vehicles, to be honest with you. That took some steel cojones. I couldn't have done it. So we go through the whole entire deployment. We're holding down Western Mosul. We relieved the 101st in Western Mosul, and our company held down Western Mosul by ourselves for like 9 months. Got in some of the largest battles in the whole entire war. As a matter of fact, that firefight that's in there on the 4th of August is the largest company-sized firefight of the entire war in Iraq. There isn't another one that was longer or larger. Our entire company.
That's because the 82nd ended the firefights very quickly.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean,
It only took us about a minute or two, and then they were all dead.
Hold
It's a
up,
weird
Joe.
flex.
That's a weird
Trust me, we were killing them. They just kept coming. They were coming out of the
longer
woodwork.
to do the job than anyone else.
Well,
Yes.
we didn't have any fires.
Maybe if they had a fister, who could call for fire accurately.
Well, we didn't have any fire support. We had no fire support. That's why I wasn't even being a fister then. I was
Company
basically
has
just
mortars.
a grunt on the ground.
You were an RTO. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That vehicle was the retrans vehicle.
Stop it. Yeah.
Because we had
Right,
no
go ahead.
fire support, no air support, no nothing. It was pretty
When are they
disgusting.
gonna make a movie about with your book?
You know, it's actually when I wrote the book, I basically just wrote it as a chronicle for the guys. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is what we did. It was never going to be a book for everybody.
Yeah, go into that. Go into that. Why you did that? That's cool.
So, like,
I read it,
we
buddy.
started talking. I used to post these little Facebook posts about stuff that went on, and the guys were like, "Man, you should write a book." And I was like, "Dude, I can't write. I'm a fister." And they were like, "No, you have to. You're the only one that can." So, you know, I write a chapter. I send it to Captain Rob. He's like, "This is the greatest thing ever." It was not the greatest thing ever. It was awful. But he just kept encouraging me to write and write. 9 months later, this product came out, and all of a sudden, all these people were so excited to read it. They read it, and they were like, "Oh, my God, this is really good." And I cannot believe that I'm ever at a point where anybody would ever want to read anything I wrote. But the guys who were there, they love it. They tell me that they can't put it down because it's so real that it takes them back to that place and that time and those battles. It's so accurate. And, you know, that's why I did it, was for them.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead, talk about, like, just, you said that you did it for them, but talk a little bit about that. Like, did you have to pull stories from people again? Did you go research it? Like, hey, can you talk about that night again?
I did both. Yeah. I did a lot of research. I got a lot of the mission logs and the mission reports from the actual missions, from the actual people when they were written right after the battle, like kind of like the AAR's mission logs before storyboards and all that other stuff. That's how you used to do it. You just write a little report up on the little typewriter. And I actually got those ones right there. I did some Freedom of Information requests for some of the talk logs and some of the radio transmissions and stuff like that. But a lot of it was interviewing, I mean, well over 100 guys that were in the unit at the time, taking their stories, piecing it together with some of the things that I kind of built. That the actual 4th of August battle, I had to write 4 times, 4 different ways, because, you know, I was a platoon sergeant that day, but I never knew what the other platoons were doing because I was too busy trying not
perspectives.
To die.
Yeah.
So I never knew what 1st platoon, 2nd platoon were even doing on the ground. I had to get their perspectives, tie it all together, and then kind of make it, you know, seem legit, because you can't write about yourself the whole entire time because there's so much going on, and you got to try to make it last over this 11-hour battle and tie all together. It was difficult, but most of it is their stories. It's the dude's stories that I put together into one giant mesh. And, you know, and a lot of the guys, they were skeptical at first, like, "Oh, you're writing a story. This is going to be dumb." Okay, so they wouldn't talk to me. And then about a month later, right before I'm getting ready to publish, everybody and their brother comes out of the woodwork, and they're like, "Hey, can you add this in the book? This is going to be great." Dude, where were you a year ago when I'm trying to write all of this? Like, Yeah, it was a difficult process, but it's fulfilling because hearing these guys from when we first started talking to now, there's so much. They've opened up so much, and they've got a lot of stuff off their chest that they haven't talked about for 20 years. And it's great because now when I have conversations with them, they perk up and they're bright. One of the guys that I talked to, his wife said he hadn't talked to anybody in 15 years about anything. And now all of a sudden he talks all the time and his life seems so much better. I'm not saying I'm life changing. I'm just saying the process itself can help people,
Yeah.
And I was going to hit on that, Joe. I was going to hit on that real quick. Like, when did it, after getting out and stuff, because this was obviously years ago, when did you like just decide, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to write this book. Like, was there a catalyst that drove you to it? Like, was there something that you wake up one day and just say, hey, I want to do this? Or like, what got you to that point?
I struggled mightily after I got out. I did almost 18 years, and then I had to have spinal surgery. And I woke up after spinal surgery, and I was paralyzed from the waist down. I had to learn how to walk again. It was not an easy task for me mentally and physically. It took me about 6 or 7 years to get right with Jesus. Basically, that hey, you know what I mean? This is okay. You go from being in the Army and being an NCO every day, and then all of a sudden you don't even have that, and then you can't walk, and you got to pee through a tube for the rest of your life. It weighs on your psyche.
Hey, hats off. Cheers to that. So you're walking now, everything good. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. So
damn, that's what's up, dude.
A couple of years ago, I started writing these little snippets. Just little, hey, this is what happened. This is what I went through. This is my take on things. The guys started contacting me and they were like, hey, this is really good. And then I talked with Captain Rob, and he was like, there's no chronicle of what we did. If you Google 123 Infantry Bravo Company, nothing pops up. It's almost like we didn't exist. He was like, we got to document this, at least from a historical standpoint, so the guys know that what we did mattered. So I started chronicling. I started talking to people. It took me about 8 months of actual sitting down, writing every single day to write the whole entire story. I left a lot of stuff out because it could have been about 600 or 700 pages, just because there's so much stuff that was going through, that we went through. And the final product is the final product. I rushed it to get it out on the 4th of August because that was the 20th anniversary of the big battle. I probably could have done a little bit better editing and stuff like that, but I just wanted to get it out there for the guys on the 20th anniversary.
Did you edit it, or not edit it, but did you publish it yourself? Or?
I did. I self-published.
Yeah.
Self-published. I've sold about 650 copies, which is amazing for a first-time self-published author.
Yeah.
Is it available for everybody that's watching just on? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
I gotta tell you, I'm still stumbling over the fact. I don't know what's more amazing than a Fister wrote a book, or that the Army keeps copies of logs and shit. Like, is that a real thing? The Army keeps copies.
Yeah. He had me on that one too. But I'm like, hey, it's got to be true.
Hey, remember David. I had a wise leader once tell us that it's a lot easier to explain in the logs a dead body as opposed to somebody with a bruise on them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, yeah, good point, Nick. Yeah,
like a lot easier to explain that in the logs. This guy got feisty, we shot him in the face, right? As opposed to this guy got feisty, we butt stroked him, and now the government has to give his family $25,000.
Right? Exactly.
Hey, I gotta retrace some steps here because I drink a lot, and I really don't know where I am half the time. How did we get linked up again to where I got you on the show?
Captain Rob. So Rob Robinson. I was going to say is the commander in the book.
He was on LinkedIn.
Colonel.
Yeah, the angry colonel. So
angry colonel.
Yeah. So I think did I see you on LinkedIn? Did I see him share it on LinkedIn and then I contacted
you? I think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say because I saw Robinson. I was like, okay, Rob Robinson. I know Moss. Moss just texted me, by the way. He's like, I'll tune in. So we know your whole chain of command, bro. So talk about I want to know at what point did you were like, hey, I need to write about JRTC.
Well, JRTC was a part of it because we were the only unit that ever went to NTC and JRTC back to back. We're the only unit that's ever done it. We had to do it because they
sucked.
Part of it because there was a lot of politics going on with the strikers. a lot of people didn't want them. They thought they were just a waste of money. They wanted Bradleys and tanks. So we went to NTC, and I'm going to tell you, my unit at NTC was probably the worst unit that ever went through NTC. We were awful. Our old commander that we had before, Rob, he was one of the worst. I mean, the worst commander I've ever seen in my life. We were awful. So they sent us to JRT.
What do you get relieved for?
Because they lost faith in his ability to lead.
That's what they say though. What did he do though?
Yeah, but what did he really do?
He at JRTC he gave out about 35 Article 15s to all the NCOs who were on the advanced party.
I mean,
so he gave an order back at.
What were you guys doing down in Sleesville that you needed Article 15s?
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
How do we know he's not the one upholding the standard? Well, you guys.
I'm about to go remote view what you guys.
Him out of it.
You guys, I'm going to remote view what you guys were doing down in there.
Yeah, hold on.
No, he gave an order for something to get tied down and never told anybody. So he came down to inspect it and everything. Every single person who was on the advanced party, including me, I was part of that. The 68 wasn't tied down the way that he wanted it to, and he issued us all Article 15s when we got back to JRTC. And a lot of us basically, it was kind of like Band of Brothers when everybody's like, nope, we're not taking the Article 15, we're taking a court-martial. So the battalion commander and the brigade commander had about 35 court-martials they were about to do on all the NCOs from Blackhawk Company.
That's legit. Yeah.
I mean, we also had like a little meeting where we were like, dude, this dude's getting shot if we ever go to war with him. So
I don't know that.
Now you're an accessory to murder.
Yeah.
That never happened.
And we can't. This is live. This is live. We can't edit it out anymore. It's already happened, and it's on the internet now.
It never happened. So
yeah.
What year was this?
This was 2003.
Yeah.
2003.
If you read the book, buddy, you'd have known that.
I was talking about the guy that got relieved.
Yeah, that was 2003. So that happened in October of 2003, right before we left.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. I'm glad you got to serve with Rob, man. Like he's a great dude.
Rob is the best combat commander I ever worked for in my entire life,
and he's got such a girlish voice too. You know, like when you read the radio calls in your book, like, hey, Black Hawk 6, just get it. Black Hawk 6 is, like Black Hawk 3, get it done. Right? Just get it done. But it came across as like, hey, just get it done, okay? Like,
But you got to understand, we went out there, and my platoon was the platoon that was with Rob on the ground by the stupid hets they wanted us to guard that were basically on fire. So the National Guard came out there, they got attacked rolling through the sector, and they left these hets on fire and rolled back to the FOB, and they sent us out there to go guard them. So they send first platoon out, they get like whacked in one of the biggest ambushes like ever. And then second platoon goes through the same stupid ambush. I mean, it was dumb. Went through the same ambush point trying to get up to first platoon, end up to the tankers who were in trouble. And then my platoon comes rolling along, and it's my platoon and Rob, and we're like stopped by these hets that are on fire, and then all hell breaks loose. Like there's no movie I've ever seen that does justice to the craziness that I saw that day. I have never seen so many RPGs and machine gun fires. They were throwing grenades from the top of the building trying to get them into the strikers. It was nuts. Like nothing I've ever seen does any justice to that day. And then they call him in there, and Rob's like, "Why are we here? Like they're just on fire. Why don't we just wait till they're done being on fire and come back and get them?" And they were like, "No, stay right there." So we stayed right there. And I'm gonna tell you, like you said, we killed everybody that was out there. They just kept bringing more people. They came out of the woodworks, like all these dudes in black pajamas. I mean, yeah.
They're having that funny to me that people, like the priorities that people are like, they're like it's like an ego thing, and they're not even there. Like, why are we staying here? Let's just go. Like, there's no like reason for us to be here because we're gonna make a point, boys. Like,
Like nobody else came out. It was just
we're here for the people that were slaughtering.
Was sitting on the problem. Nobody else came out. They were all afraid.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, they literally remember that Red versus Blue. Everybody watched it on deployments with the Halo guys. You know, where they dub over the voices of the Halo dudes, and like, they literally cover this. It's like, Sarge, why are we here? What, Private? And he's like, I mean, we're in a canyon. He's like, we have a base over here because they have a base over there. If we just left, then they'd be the only ones in this canyon. Yeah. Shut up, Private.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I gotta get Rob on the show. I wish I totally forgot that's how we got connected. Otherwise I probably would have had him come on. That would have been super cool. Yeah, we have a guy from our battalion who decided to become a man and become airborne after about 6 or 7 years. Kershaw, and he's did a movie Tribal, and he wants to do a movie about Samara, and he's got a lot of people that have a lot of money that want to make these kinds of movies. So I'm definitely going to hit him up about your book.
We went to Samara too. We were in Samara for a couple of weeks before we rolled up to Mosul.
Yeah, did you go take out?
We were there for 15 months in 06. That place.
You can tell. There's a big difference between when you might have been there and when these two geniuses were there. There was a big mosque there.
Second time.
Yeah, it wasn't there when they left.
No, I was drinking coffee and smoking a cigarette when it blew up. That was cool.
Jesus.
I was like,
that day, bro.
It was like boom, and I was like, that was loud. And I walk around the corner, and I'm like, there used to be like a big dome over there. Like,
yeah,
it's not
as we rolled out. I mean, now Colonel Goldtree probably now, right? Colonel Goldtree.
He's a battalion commander in basic training.
Yeah. If he had made the right to go out BP4 like we usually do, we went out. We went out the other gate. Like, we would have died, man. We literally passed by it when that V-bid went in. No,
I'm talking about when they blew up the mosque.
Oh, I thought that was the same day.
No, they blew up.
There were all kinds of days. Yeah.
Are you saying that you don't remember the day that they blew up the super famous?
He was sleeping.
TBI.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I was the only one awake on the patrol base that time. So.
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting day. And now we wonder.
Station.
And we wonder how it is they blew the mosque up.
Well, the best is there was 140 guards on that mosque, and there wasn't a single round fired before it blew up.
Yeah, or a person.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, they walked in like, hey, you guys gotta leave. We're gonna blow this up. Like, time to go. But no, I'll definitely reach out to Mark and send him a copy of the book and see if he'd be interested in doing something like that. But it'll probably be for a couple of years because I think he's going to work on the Samara one first. But for sure, like I got about 98% of it read, and all, like I said, stats I'm reading up on the spot. So more maybe probably like 64. But it's a good read. Anybody watching? How do they go get it? How do they go get?
It's on Amazon. It's exclusively on Amazon right now. So I mean, if you just go on Amazon and type in "Gods of War" Joe Troutman, it'll pop up.
Yeah, so and here I gotta make fun of Fisters again. All right, so we have a producer who's not on right now. I am technically the producer. I am the captain, right? I was like, hey, get a QR code from Joe. Right, I need a QR code so that we can put it up on the screen, and then people will scan it, like that QR code that we have up there for subscribing to us. And usually people will do that, and you'll sell like 5 or 6 books. But you know what Joe sends me? He sends me a picture of a business card with a QR code on it. I was like, this is terrible.
I mean,
how do I work with this guy?
Can't we put a picture up and then maybe
the QR code would still work, right?
Yeah, if use the QR code,
but then now you need the picture, and the picture is going to take up half the screen.
Make it smaller.
Ooh, cut the QR code out.
But you know how precious Chris is with his time, right?
That is true. That is true. That is true.
If you didn't get him that picture 3 days in advance, it's not getting resized. Okay?
Yeah,
like he's like the bad leaders that wouldn't like grant you leave because you didn't turn it in on time. It's like that. Still going on.
15 minutes late.
I will tell you that I'm still learning this whole process. Like, sometimes writing is the easiest part. The stuff that comes afterwards, no one ever tells you how to do it, and you don't really learn it until you make some mistakes.
When are you going on your book tour? You should go on a book tour.
I'm actually doing a book signing next weekend.
Where?
Nice.
In Milford, Delaware.
Why? There's like 7 people there.
Brewery.
You had I was like, what? Yeah, we'll be at the quick trip there on Main and Second.
Not trying to sell a lot of books, are we, Joe? We're just like, I'm going to go to Delaware, and the smallest state in the country.
Yeah,
with like 12 people, and try to like sell out my books. Like,
yeah, you would think that you would be going to like,
if you want to fly
Base where that unit is at. Yeah.
I actually,
if you want to fly out to
check
LA,
it out. I actually have gotten in contact with the distributor for all of AFES. So they're gonna, if everything works out, my book will be in all of the AFES all over the world.
Nice. Good stuff.
So that's what I'm working on right now. So
yeah,
right.
So is there a book? Is there a number 2? Like, did you ever think about that, or is that like your one and done?
I have a couple more ideas. I went back to Mosul for 15 more months, and I was the target NCO for all of northern Iraq. So I had a lot of stuff at my disposal. We basically wiped Al Qaeda off the map. I had a couple action platoons that were directly,
Is this the second Jason Bourne in a row we've had on the show?
National
I know, dude.
Just wipe some stuff.
I don't lie.
That's Jason Bourne.
When Dave said, "Are you going to do a sequel book?" The title
I said
of the book,
a number 2.
Shut up, Dave.
Oh.
The title of the book popped into my head. Try this on for size. Double fisted. Story. The second story of a fister. It just.
You would like that, buddy. We know you do.
Hey, fisters go deep.
How I double fisted Mosul.
Fisted again. My
Just a tip. Just a tip.
The infantry brought the tip. I brought the fists. Twice.
Look at that. Bestseller. Bestseller.
We got it. We got it.
That
We
was
don't
2
get
Mosul levels.
Hey,
I'll remote view later if it'll be successful or not, and we're good to
if
go,
you don't
man.
get royalties from your double fister book.
I feel like this right now is the best AAR/recap that we've ever done. Just everything full circle.
Yeah, I think we just did it. So yeah, I don't even think I need to do an AAR.
That's what's up. That's good stuff, man.
Want the AAR, they can remote view it.
Hey, somebody go to Amazon right now and fact check this sister. All right, if you're watching, go on Amazon, type in Gods of Wrath, Joe Troutman. Right, go on there, type it up, and then buy the book. All right.
You can't remote the AAR if we didn't do it.
Who said?
How do we know if somebody didn't remote and tell us not to do it? Or can you not talk in the remote?
Yeah, right.
We didn't cover this.
No, buddy said if somebody wants to watch the AAR, they can remote view it. I said you can't remote view something that didn't occur.
How do you know that?
Fact.
If you
Fact.
can,
Because we didn't.
Hold on. If you can remote view the future, it hasn't occurred yet.
Oh, that's a good point. But it had to have we didn't do the AAR though.
All right. Hey, look, everybody. Hey, we got like 6 people watching right now. We had about 20. I think we lost them on the double fist. But like, oh crap, it's going down the dumpster fire route again. Which is the fun part, guys. Hey, if you're watching and you go buy that book right now, I'll send you a T-shirt. All right, I'll send you a free T-shirt. All right, buy the book and let us know. Share the link in here because our producer, the Marine, has like 7 monitors and can type stuff. Nobody knows what he's doing. If I start typing, I just look stupid and I'll probably spell everything wrong. So like, yeah, go buy the book. Let us know if it's actually on Amazon because I kind of don't believe it. So we're gonna call him out. And again, Joe, it hurt my feelings that I was so excited to bring an infantry guy on, and you're not infantry.
Sorry,
Valor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I'm always happy to have your own. Yes.
Done. Just purchased it. All right, it's on there.
Boom.
It's on there. Hey, can you put the link on the chat, Linda? Please, that'd be awesome. I'll send you a T-shirt anyways. So you could have just asked for one. But that's what that is. Okay. Is there anything else you want to say before I get into the AAR? Like, is there any other thing you want to pass on?
Verified.
Or anybody you want to shout out to, or like the process of it, anything like that? There we go. Boom, we put it right there. Oh, it works.
I just want to say thank you to all of the guys, like the whole entire unit. They took me in. Like you said, I am a dirty leg fister, so they had no business
Terrible.
even.
The worst of the worst.
The worst of the
Yeah.
worst. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And these
I mean, at
dudes
least you
treated me
could've
like family, and they still treat me like family to this day. So they're always going to be my family. And
Yeah.
you know, without them, this story wasn't possible. This isn't my story; it's their story. So it's all of our story, and that's why I wrote the book, and that's why I'll continue to do the things, because I want to give a voice to the people who can't or won't give a voice to themselves.
And yeah, that's a really cool thing, and I'm glad you did that. And I know it probably helped some people that were struggling. So that's really cool that you did that. Okay, for the AAR. Obviously, Buddy supports dirty football playing. He's okay with it. He's just it is what it is. You didn't have to beat us up like that. You could have just won by like 3 scores, but let's just get over it. And again, it's
17-year-old can't help it.
Yeah. And then we have remote viewing. It's apparently real. Unless you don't do it, then you can't remote view it. So we don't really know what we want to remote view yet, and we don't know if we can talk about it, but stay tuned, because we are going to create a remote viewing class on TikTok, and we're going to teach you how to do it. All right. It'll be Faceman and Buddy teach you how Special Forces remote views.
Remote
viewing. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'd go to
Buddy. Yeah, and then Buddy made a really good point.
I go to heartbeat.
Yeah, Buddy. You guys are going to be instructors, so you better get your shit together. All right.
Well, we need to go learn first in order to instruct it. Or can we just?
Buddy said, "Don't get all bent out of shape about sports teams," which I 100% agree with, and I wanted to talk about it then, but I saved it. I'll do it now. Again, I don't really care about Wisconsin. I played football in college. Don't care. All right. But I just wanted to have a fun banter with Buddy, and that they ruined it in the first quarter. It just didn't happen. However, he is right. And I think I did a book of Earl on this like 2 years ago, to where if you never text me ever, and then the Packers lose to like Philadelphia, and then you text me, "How's it going, bro?" It's fine. Like, I just got done watching the football game. The Packers suck. Okay. Like, I'm glad. I mean, maybe that's the connection that we had, that we forged, and I'm happy for it that you thought about me to text me. But yeah, don't be a douchebag when it comes to sports. All right, like, you don't play for the team, you don't own the team. All right, unless you're a Packer fan, you can own the team. But like, you just let it go. Like Elsa says, right? Is it Elsa sing it, or is their sister sing it?
I think it's Elsa. Let go, let go.
Elsa sings it.
Yeah.
And then he got
let it go.
And then he got into his other honesty cap of like people who do dumb things, like try to fraud themselves and then go to jail. They should be shot in the face. We don't need them on the planet. I don't think there's any rehabilitation that has been created.
Hashtag natural selection.
Natural selection. So we got that. And then we brought what we thought was a grunt on the show, and we were lied to. And now we got the double fist of Mosul. Hey, if you want to moderate for us, Joe, all right, you'll be the VTT's double fist of Mosul. All right, we've already got your name. Okay, you have, not only did you fist Mosul once, you fisted him twice. Right? Like, I love it. I love it. But yeah, that's the AAR. Dave, what we got?
Joe, any final words?
Thank you guys for having me on. I had a blast. It was a blast.
Good.
Wonderful. Hey, we appreciate you coming on and sharing those stories. And if you're watching, go buy the damn book, support a fellow brother out. If you missed the show, you tuned in late, go to VeteranTrashTalk.com. That's our website, which has all the links. You can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast, or you can rewatch on YouTube, which if you're watching right now, go give us a quick like and subscribe. We are shadow banned on YouTube, and we would love to get pushed through the algorithm a little bit more. If you're interested in our merch, go to shop.veterantrashtalk.com. Buddy is wearing the Quit Being a Triggered Pansy shirt from what it looks like. Yeah. Nick is wearing Just a Tip. That's a great conversation starter. It's hilarious. If you can't see on the screen, that's a little bullet right there.
Unless you have daughters, do not wear it in public with your daughters. They don't like it.
Yep. I am wearing one of my favorites, the American Infidel. All right. You can get that at shop.veterantrashtalk.com on Shopify. Support us. We'll catch you guys next Saturday. Faceman VTT.